Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigil here and welcome back to our videos. So in this one we're going to go over all the changes, fixes, and new bugs introduced with the new updates. So you guys are pretty much aware of them, so yeah, let's get into it. Though keep in mind I don't have any way of knowing all of them, so if you have something additional to that, feel free to add it in the comments. And huge thanks to the people at Vulture server, because I'm going to use pretty much their bug report, because they do that every patch and they do a pretty good job at it. So if you want to join this server for that purpose or for finding a link, there's as usual a link in the description that says join if you need a link, which will direct you to that Discord server. But yeah, let's get into it. I'm gonna begin with a few notable things, and we got this challenge over here that's started. If you don't pay for it, you're gonna only access the free tier. If you paid for it, you're going to access the tier below. She's going to be a character that's going to be available for everybody eventually. Usually it happens as soon as the pass ends. She's going to be introduced in a chest, that's for sure, and maybe in the challenge arena invasion as well, as a way to also get her gears. So if you're patient, you're eventually gonna get her. Also, if you want to grind the free-to-play side of things, I really recommend you grind until at least the 13th level, because that's going to give you some artifact reforges. And this is a resource that is not easily found, so definitely try to grind until at least level 13 as free to play. I mean, there's not much of a point of grinding past that unless you obviously want the icon over here, because the rewards are honestly not worth the effort you're putting, but going for those reforges is worth it. Also, wouldn't touch on chests in the story in terms of the changes side of things, but this kind of reflects on that. We got 2 new gear reforce chests. First of all, don't touch this. This is absolute garbage. You do not need this. Rare reforges are just gonna be a bit more time efficient than the normal reforges, but they're not worth gems in any way, shape, or form. You're gonna get your reforges from soul raids, and this is a bad deal overall. However, we got another chest over here. Everybody has been complaining, or I have been complaining at least since the newest updates to the gear system that allows us to get gears all the way to level 80 and unlocks an additional gear slot, that those resources that we're supposed to get by shattering gears that are above level 60, if I'm not wrong, are very, very hard to get, extremely hard to get. I myself shattered like 2 years worth of soul ray dropped gears and I got like 3 of them, and they kind of fixed it a bit by introducing this chest. This is not the best way to go about things, but at the same time it's not the worst way to go about things, because it's not going to be chance based. You know exactly what you're getting. The amount of materials is not great, so you're not buying it for it. You're buying it for the 10 epic gear reforges. And honestly, this is a pretty fair chest, a pretty decent chest if you're at that point in the game where you're at the point where the only thing you want to do is optimize the character's gears. I wouldn't recommend this for new players, I wouldn't recommend this for intermediate players, but if you're at that point where you don't have much use for gems, or they may be saving for new characters, you might as well buy this and get some rerolls and get yourself some more attack rolls, I guess, on the 5th gear thing. Again, I wouldn't love to see this as a permanent fix, especially because this chest is not going to be permanently in the store, it's going to be cycled in and out, but for a temporary fix, this is actually not the worst thing. Something huge about league raids, you can actually start founding with the slider. That feature actually works, and this is the thing that makes me the happiest about this update, because it saves a lot of time and a lot of tedium regarding the league founding process. Also, there's a bit of a bug that puts the start rate here. Even though the raid is on cooldown, it will fail to start. It will appear as it's ready to start, but if it's still on cooldown, it will fail to start. It's not a big deal, it's just a visual bug at best, and as far as I'm aware, it doesn't do anything like lose all the donation or restart the donation, so it's fine. I'm just very happy we got the founding slider. This is absolutely amazing. I'm on the secondary account, so I don't have this man unlocked, but I'm not gonna switch accounts only for that purpose, because it doesn't make a difference. But we're gonna talk about Batman Who Laughs a bit and Twin Blades. As you have seen over the past month, the passive over here had a very nice interaction with Twin Blade, where instead of 35%, it dealt something like 60% of the total enemy's health if they were full health when you began with this. And this is not the first time this happened. This happened in the past with Jokerized Batarangs, if I remember correctly, with fast attack chance whenever he got released. and now it's gone. Everybody expected this. Nobody expected that they would let him with the twin blades with that amount of damage. It was fun while it lasted. Now I can confirm this is sadly fixed. Now we're gonna talk a bit about the Batman Ninja team. There's a bit of misunderstanding, I guess, with the Puppet Batman Ninja team, or I'm misunderstanding this. I'll see how that goes and test it out in the next video. I'll test a lot of things that are here in the next video. I'm gonna play my Soul Raid fights, but Batman Ninja team seems to be fixed. And we're gonna talk a bit more about that too later. However, the Puppet on Batman Ninja team and on Grodd specifically is no longer gonna be that good and give you an instant activation. Because previously the Puppet was good on Batman Ninja team because you had this thing that stacked as different negative effects each time you applied it, and you could get instant Puppet activation. That is no longer the case because now the defense and damage reduction negative effects are going to be applied as stacking negative effects. You're going to get only one for damage reduction and only one for defense reduction, and they are going to just keep stacking up and piling on top of each other instead of being different negative effects. Like, a situation like this and kind of all other situations would be pretty good because it wouldn't clog the screen on the right side. But here it's bad because this was the main way of stacking Puppet for the Batman Ninja team. Now, I don't think this is the biggest deal for the Batman Ninja team. I don't think this is the biggest deal for them as damage dealers. Because Batman Ninja Catwoman did indeed do her highest damage with Puppet when you had the lowest amount of passive stats. But as soon as you start to get some passive stats, she did far better with Dark Malakard. Also, I'm curious to see how she does with Twin Blades, and also a bit more on the Twin Blade on this video. But yeah, you can no longer get instant Puppet activation out of Grodd, though you can still use him for that purpose, I guess, because it's still 2 negative effects. You put the God Killer, that's 3 negative effects, and it definitely does ease up the job of the Puppet user if you want to use him for stacking Puppets. But Puppet Batman Ninja Catwoman is not going to be that great anymore, and you're not going to be able to as reliably keep up. Though still you have the dot from specialty, you're just not gonna get the crazy amounts of attack from fully stacking Puppet on Batman Ninja Catwoman, which is a nerf to the Batman Ninja team, but only in the earlier parts of your Soul Raids. Because yet again, later on, Dark Malakard is going to be better than Puppet anyway, even if Puppet was in the previous states. I mean, not Puppet, because Puppet is not changing if their passive was in the previous state. And as far as Puppet goes, I'm gonna test that out in the next video, because I'm not sure there's a problem with it or not. Robin's Ninja Lethality has been fixed in the way that now it properly stacks, and now it's actually going to tell you the maximum amount of stacks that you can actually get out of this, which is about getting 1000 more lethality, because it's... Oh, this is lethal chance. My bad. They also added for lethal chance. Okay, but lethal damage. Wait. Is this a typo? I think it's a typo. Because it says lethal attack chance. And then it says lethal attack damage. Yeah, it's a typo, but yeah, this is the lethal attack damage passive of Robin that was bugged, and now it's allegedly fixed. Haven't tested out myself, but people say it's fixed, and it's going to stack up to 34 times. Previously, I don't know if it had a cap, and it was just not mentioned, or it didn't have a cap, but the thing is, you're simply gonna have a cap in the way that you run out of stacks. They're going to expire as you keep adding new ones. I'm not sure you're reaching 34 of them, but yeah, at least it's fixed. At least it's fixed. It might be a bit less damage for the Batman Ninja team. It might not be a bit less damage for the Batman Ninja team, because again, we don't know if we got all the way to 34 stacks in the first place. And also, this is a yellow number, so this means it's stacking with the Robin level. So lower star rating Robins than 6 stars might have a bit of a worse time with this, I guess. I don't know, but this is at least allegedly fixed. Twin Blade no longer works for Batman the Drowned, by the way, because it no longer regards or super move as basic hit damage. They had some kind of weird wording around it, so I'll see how this goes and test it on our teams to see if it's as good as in our teams. Because some people said that you also get a bit lower damage than you used to get from Twin Blades. before the updates. Again, I'll test that out in the next video. But yeah, this for sure no longer works on Batman the Drowned. And again, it's not a big deal. It's not like Batman the Drowned needed it. It's just gonna do 2 billion damage with it or without it. Just gonna go back to using Dark Malakard's Crown and God here for convenience purposes. This was always more of a fun thing to use on Batman the Drowned, and like, look, this works and it's not supposed to work. Then, I mean, it was also efficient, but the thing is you have options. It's not like this artifact was the only reason why Batman the Drowned was relevant. She was the best character in the game before this artifact, and she was the best character during this artifact, interacting with her, and she still is the best character in the game, so I don't feel like this is that much of a big deal. It's just a bit of wasted time for me and other people who added some armor pierce on her talents, so I guess it would have been the smart thing to wait until the next update to do that. A quick thing about Zatanna, her passive that gives you 300% damage is going to transition phases now in the Great Cycle from phase 1 to phase 2. So for all of you League Rate enthusiasts, you might as well take advantage of this and do something fun with this before it gets removed. There's also a bit of a, I mean, this is irrelevant to be honest, but in the battle log, if you had offensive battles here, which I don't have, and you want to go over all your offensive battles, because there's going to be a button to go through the rows, it's not going to work. I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care, but I'm just putting it out there, okay? And that's kind of it for this update for now. Again, if you have more things you want to point out or specific things that are specifically happening to you, because that happens too, that can happen too. Let me know in the comments, and overall this is an okay update. It was a small update, they didn't that many things. I'm just glad they fixed the Batman Ninja team somewhat. I don't agree with the puppet change. I really don't agree with the puppet change. And I'm not even sure they tried to like nerf the puppets directly, and they're not nerfing the puppet directly, they're doing it indirectly. I think they wanted to do a huge whole update to the Batman Ninja team, and indeed the fact that you had each negative effect stacking separately was something that was outdated, but indirectly they nerfed the synergy with the puppet, so that's the thing that sucks the most. The Twin Blade interactions with Battle Collapse and Batman the Drowned were kind of expected to be removed. And the only thing to test out is how everything feels and works in Soul Raids, which I'm gonna do in the next video. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you have anything to add to this video in terms of bugs, glitches, or new additions that I missed. And with that being said, also let me know your opinion, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye!